Hello, pet parents. Welcome to a special live demonstration session on grooming your new puppy. Ever since the lockdown made us stay at home, a lot of small puppies have been adopted to make one's home a happier place. If you are a new pet parent and have been struggling with your pup's hygiene and grooming, this session is going to be of great help to you. This is Neharika, your host today from PetFed India, and today we have Andrea Cyril Khurana with us, who will shortly be taking over the entire screen to give you all a full demo on grooming. Hi, Andrea, how are you today?
Hi Niharika, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and who is our little guest?
So this little pumpkin is Fiona. So
Cutie.
Fiona was in Sleepyland. So
Okay.
Fiona is a Bichon Frise, and as we know, Bichon Frise is has high grooming needs, or high
Hmm.
maintenance needs for grooming. So a puppy like her needs to be introduced to grooming as early as possible. So today I'm going to give you all a few tips and tricks, and what you guys should be doing, because hi Akshay Gupta. Because a lot of us have got puppies during this lockdown, because they really make our lives so much better, right? I mean, there is so much love and so much cuteness there in this horrible pandemic, right? So
Right.
these are like our rays of hope. But the thing is, with these rays of hope, is that you need to take care of them, right? You
Right.
can't just bring them home and then think that, acha, abhi I brought them home, now I love them, and that's where my work ends. But that is not how it works. Okay, so when
Right.
you bring a puppy home, you need to take care of it. It's like bringing a baby home, but you're not bringing a baby home, you're bringing a puppy home. You have to understand that as well, right? So how you train your puppy, and the uh, the training and the habits that you give your puppy when they are young is something that will go on till when they are older. And a breed like a Bichon Frise, or a Shih Tzu, or a Maltese, or a Yorkshire Terrier, these dogs have long hair, right? So you need
Hmm.
to be able to groom these dogs throughout their life. It's not something that will be done once and then we have to forget about it for the rest of their life. No, it's something that they have to be okay with, for forever, like for the 14, 15, 20, 100 years, hopefully, that they are around for. So
Right. Right. Right.
right? So I'm going to start with a few, tips on what you should be doing and how you should introduce your puppy for grooming. Okay.
Okay. So
So
before
first
we
of all,
start,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So before
go
we
ahead.
start, for those of you who don't know her yet, Andrea is an international certified show groomer, president of Professional Pet Groomers Association India, and founder of Petsburg. Over the course of her rich professional experience, she has received various awards and accolades for being an international certified groomer and instructor across various countries like Australia, USA, and Malaysia. She's also the first person to successfully launch and operate Mumbai's first mobile pet grooming van from 2008 onwards. And as promised, she is here with an interesting live demo session where she will be covering the basics of puppy grooming, which will bring you a step closer towards keeping your puppy well groomed at home safely and without any fear. So, the topics that we will be covering in the demo today are how to introduce your puppy to grooming and how to handle them while grooming. The other will be brushing and combing, ear and eye cleaning, and paw hygiene. Is that right, Andrea?
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Yeah, so people who are watching this, please feel free to drop in all your queries in the comment section below regarding puppy grooming or any grooming equipment, and we will surely answer them for you once the demo is over. And before we start with the demo, just like last time, we are also running an interesting trivia contest today during this live session. We will be asking the audience three questions throughout the session. So, three lucky winners who will answer the three questions correctly, they'll win an exciting gift hamper from Purina Pro Plan India. So, stay tuned as the trivia questions will be announced in the middle of the live demo session for you to answer in the comments below. And the winners we will be announcing at the end of the session. So, are you ready, Andrea? Should we start with the first demo?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Thank you very much. Fiona is a little sleepy. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. And that brings me to my introduction. Okay. So now we're going to start with our little demo, and I'm going to tell you how you should introduce a puppy to grooming.
So
Okay?
let me just
So
go off the screen. You should
sure.
take the whole screen. Over to you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so hi guys, we have Fiona here. Fiona is a super sleepy little puppy. Okay, she's a cute little girl. All right. So when you have a puppy, I think one of the a really good trick is to tire your puppy out before you start grooming, right? Because when your puppy is sleepy, then there's less naughtiness happening, less mischief, right? So they're going to allow you to do a lot more. Okay, so that's one thing. Before you start grooming your puppy, play with your puppy. Take them around, tire them out a little bit. Okay, make sure they have done their all their bathroom break and everything is all done, because if they want to poo or pee, then you don't want them on the table, and then they'd be uncomfortable. Another trick is that whenever you're grooming a puppy, try and put them on an elevated surface. Okay, so maybe a table or a chair or maybe a sofa or somewhere higher, so that they don't have too much access to run away. So when you're grooming your puppy on the floor, they tend to run away from you, right? So that is not something that you want, because I mean you're not really playing cat and mouse, you're grooming. So first of all, your puppy needs to be tired. Secondly, you need to put your puppy on an elevated surface, okay? And thirdly, and most important, is you need to have something ready for them in terms of treats. So a lot of dogs love their kibble, or they love little treats, or little biscuits, or anything that your puppy really likes. I would recommend that you keep it on standby, and before you start grooming, you have all of these things ready. Okay, even for to start grooming, you need to have your equipment and everything close by, so you don't have to stop and walk away from your puppy and then come back and then do the whole process again, right? So your puppy is on the table, your puppy is tired, you have your equipment ready, and you have your treats ready. So that is how you will introduce your puppy to grooming. Okay. Another very important thing is that you would not keep your puppy on the table for too long, right? Because they're puppies, they have a very short attention span. So you don't want to keep them there for too long, where they're getting bored and tired and like upset. And so I would suggest maybe about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at most for their first few times. And then as and when they start tolerating it more, I would recommend that you increase the time. Okay. And the younger you start, the better. In the sense, when your puppy comes home to you, most often they're approximately 6 weeks old, 6 to 8 weeks old. Some are younger, some are older. If your puppy already has hair on them, even if it's just a little bit, I'm not talking about newborn puppies, I'm not talking about puppies that have like really, really little hair and you can't really get a comb or a brush through. I'm not talking about those puppies. I'm talking about puppies that have a little bit of hair. It's not a lot of hair. It's not the kind of hair that's going to get matted or knotted, but it's enough hair to, for you to be able to brush or comb. So why am I telling you to do it at that time? Is because it'll be easier for you to brush or comb your puppy, right? So if the hair is shorter, the brush or the comb will go through easier. Like for example, Fiona is very sleepy, so I have my comb ready with me, and I'm pulling my comb through, and it's going through relatively easy, right? Because I had already brushed her out earlier, and her hair is a little bit longer. I don't know if you guys can see, but her hair is a little bit longer than a puppy coat, because she's about 3.5 months old now. Yeah, but she's okay with the process, because her owners have been doing this since she was really young, right? When she had just a little bit of hair, they had already started doing this. So this always helps, get your puppy used to this whole process, right? Which is going to be a lifesaver for you in the long run, because you don't want your comb getting stuck, and and your puppy whinging and whining, and you're fighting, and your puppy is fighting, and then they'll start biting you, and they'll start biting the comb, and they'll start hating the entire grooming process. And then the next thing you know, they have knots, they have mats. You're taking them to a groomer, and the groomer is like, there's nothing I can do, I have to shave off your dog. And that's not a good thing, right? So if you have a dog that has long hair, please make sure that you are introducing them positively to grooming at as young an age as you possibly can. As soon as they come home, I would recommend within the first 2 or 3 days, start just a little bit, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and motivate them play with them a lot, and then get them onto the onto a table or a sofa or something. So yeah, so that's my tip on how to handle. And of course, when you are handling your puppy, be very very gentle. So as you can see, Fiona is already asleep, right? So I'm gonna try and pick her up a little bit. So I have my hand underneath her chin so that she has a little bit of support and she feels a little comfortable. And because I'm holding her in a comfortable way, she's fine. She hasn't woken up as yet. If you were to handle her badly, she would wake up and then she would be upset and then she would be moving around. So I don't want to do that. She's sleeping. I'm happy that she's sleeping right now because it gives me more time to brush her, right? So yeah, so those are how you would introduce and how you would handle your puppy. Always handle them very gently. Never ever shout at them or beat them or be mean to them because they are puppies. You have to understand that they are puppies and their attention span is not really really big. So you have to give them that much space. But yes, that doesn't mean that you should let them run amok with just about anything. You still need to train them because today they're puppies, tomorrow they're going to be bigger dogs, and they are going to have much more hair, and it's going to be much harder to handle. So yeah, so that's our first section. Niharika, I think we can start with a trivia question. What do you say? Niharika, I think there's a problem. I can't hear you.
Uh,
Yeah, now I can hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so right before moving to the next demo, we have a first trivia question. The question is, what is essential for preventing any buildup of dirt in a puppy's fur coat? The option 1 is brushing and option 2 is trimming. I will repeat the question. What is essential for preventing any buildup of dirt in a puppy's fur coat? Your option 1 is brushing and option 2 is trimming. So for those of you who know the correct answer, please write it in the comment section below. And after the demo is over, we will be announcing 3 lucky winners who will be winning gift hamper from Purina Pro Plan. Should we take the next demo, Andrea?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I'll let you have the
Okay.
screen again. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. So now to our next section. Okay, brushing and combing. So this is what we are building up to. Now I've told you how to take care of them and how to handle them and where to keep them and when to start and all of those things. That is amazing. Now we need to actually do the job, right? So when you want to brush or comb your pet, make sure you have the right tools handy. Okay. So what you would need is a metal comb like this. So you would get it in pretty much, I think most pet shops should have it, right? A metal comb helps reduce static, which is why it's great for dogs' hair. So, you have combs like this and you have combs that come with handles. So you can use something like that as well. We avoid a plastic comb because plastic comb normally has a lot of static, which is not great for, doggy hair because it tends to mat sooner than it actually brushes out, okay? So you have your metal comb, which looks something like that. All right. Then you have something known as a slicker brush. All right. So the slicker brush is a brush that has these little pins on it. Right. Can you guys see the pins? Right. And at the end of this, it's got these little paint blobs, which makes it a little bit softer for puppies. So when you're using brushes and combs on a puppy, it's better to use a smaller one to start with, and when they grow up, then you can go with a slightly bigger one. Something that is more apt for their coat. But as of now, like for example, Fiona is really really tiny, so a brush this big, it's about this big, so it's as big as my palm, which is quite small. It's not too big, so it's great for her, right? And she's tolerating it pretty well. First of all, she's tired. Secondly, she's used to the whole process, so she loves it, right? So it's a bonding experience for you and your this thing, bonding exercise for you and your puppy. So you have your slicker brush, right? Then you have a pin brush. Okay, so this is a pin brush. This is also a brush that you would get in most pet shops. So this is a professional brush, guys. So don't worry. Your brush doesn't have to look exactly like this. But yes, a pin brush that has these kind of metal pins in it. This is great for dogs with a longer coat, right? So like your Shih Tzus with a nice long flowing coat or your Maltese with a nice long flowing coat. This brush is really helpful to, detangle as well as brush out. Okay. Apart from that, what I like to use is something known as a flea comb. Okay, a flea comb has, as the name suggests, it's a comb actually meant to remove fleas, but we also use it to comb out the eye and face area. Okay, normally what happens with puppies and even older dogs is that the corners of the eyes always build up like a little bit of discharge, right? So we need to be able to remove that discharge. So these combs are very helpful for something like that, right? But I would not recommend that you go like in directly. So if I were to comb Fiona's face, if I'm going to try and go in directly and comb her, my comb is kind of getting stuck, right? So I don't want to pull that hair for her. So make sure that whenever you're brushing or combing your puppy, you're not hurting your puppy, because if you're hurting your puppy is going to associate that process with something negative, and they're going to hate grooming for their entire lives. So you don't want to hurt your puppy. So what you can do is you can use something like a saline solution, right? This is a regular saline solution. It's like a contact lens solution. You can use this. You can use a cotton swab like that, a regular cotton swab, okay? And you can wet this cotton swab. She fell down. You can wet the cotton swab, okay? So I put a little bit of like, solution on it, and second, my sweetheart, you can just gently wipe, okay? Yeah, you can just gently wipe first to remove all that excess dirt, okay? Once you've removed, she's pretty clean because she had a bath pretty recently. Once you've removed that, you can just start combing. All right. Now, when you're combing, guys, if you notice, you can see that I'm actually rolling my comb and I'm not like pulling. Okay. So please don't do that. Don't pull the hair on their face, especially next to the eyes, because obviously it hurts. I mean, you wouldn't want somebody to be pulling the hair next to your eyes or anything like that. That is if you had any hair. So yeah. So if you meet any knots or anything, just roll. Yeah, and gently remove any dirt or gunk that is settling there between the eyes. This is especially great for Shih Tzus because they have a brachycephalic skull type, which means that they have a flat nose. So you would need to clean that area pretty regularly. Okay, so make sure that you are first using some saline water and maybe a cotton or a gauze or something like a soft cloth or something to clean the area, and then trying to comb out or clean out anything, because if you try to pull out any dried up dirt next to the eye, it's going to pull and they're not going to like it, and then eventually they're going to hate you touching them anywhere around their eyes. So remember, be gentle and make sure that the area is clean first. Okay. So actually, this cleaning with saline solution or with the contact lens solution is great for even dogs like pugs or French bulldogs. They have this little fold in their face. You can use cotton, or you can use any soft cotton fabric. Wet it and just clean that area, that little fold over their nose. Or some bulldog type of breeds, they have a little fold right next to their tail. You can even do the same thing. So you can put saline or contact lens solution on a piece of cotton and wipe inside that little fold. So you have to make sure that you're keeping that clean. Otherwise, this can be a breeding ground for fungal infections, which can lead to eye problems or skin infections later on. Okay. So that's for eyes. That's for combing the eyes. Actually, that is supposed to be in our next section, but since it was involved with combing as well, so I just wanted to show you guys. So anyway, so that's combing the face area. All right. Now, how do we comb or brush the rest of the body? Okay. So what I always tell my clients and what I recommend is, Fiona, if you could just stand up, baby girl. All right. Okay. Right. So when you are brushing or combing, right, make sure that you're getting down, all the way down to the skin. So, like for example, if I'm brushing, I should be able to see her skin. So if you can see when I'm brushing here, I can see her skin, which means that she is not matted, right? Which means that there are no mats right down to her skin. So whenever you're brushing or combing your long-haired dog, please make sure that you're making these lines. This is known as line brushing. And if you notice, I'm doing it very, very gently. I am not pressing or hurting her at all. Also, I had brushed her out before, so which is why she's not knotted at all. She is extremely tired because she had such a great game and she played so much before we started the session that she's like, she's all done. Right. So that's your brushing and combing. So I used the pin brush for her right now. You could even use a slicker brush. The thing with a slicker brush is that you have to be careful because these wires, they can be quite sharp. Okay, these wires. So be careful when you're brushing your dog because you can scratch the skin. So whenever you're using this, always use it on the back of your hand first. Okay, and see whether you're scratching yourself. If you're not scratching yourself, then you try it on your dog. If you are scratching yourself, you're 100% going to be scratching your dog. So please don't use it then. Okay. And also, if you have a dog with very long hair, you always start, brushing from the tips. So you'll start brushing from the tips of the hair, right? And then you go up to the roots. So you start from the bottom and you go to the top, okay? And make sure you're getting places like behind the ears, all right? Because these are what you call friction areas, okay? Behind the ears, the armpits, behind the, the butt, the tail area, behind the legs over here. Can you see your butt? Okay. So this area, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Okay. Okay. You guys can see, right? Yeah. So this area also tends to get knotted because when they pee and poop and stuff like that, it gets wet. So you want to make sure that that is brushed out properly. Every time they come back from a walk or anything like that, and you wet their paws, brush out their paws, comb out their paws, and check. Always check for knots. All right, with your comb. Once you finish brushing, you have to use a comb to check whether or not they have any knots. So you would check for knots. Okay. So as you can see, she has no knots and she's actually sleepy. Okay. And of course, check the entire body after you finish brushing so that you know that there are absolutely no knots left anywhere. Because one tiny knot will attract more hair, and more and more and more and more and more, and it becomes like a really big mat. So, and that is something that most groomers would shave off. And, I'm sure if you have a fluffy dog, that's not really what you're looking for. So, I would recommend that you brush and comb them before. So, Niharika, we're done with the brushing and combing section. Would you like to?
Yeah, so that was really informative, Andrea. I learned a lot from this session. Before we move on to the next session, we have one question from Mohit, and he says, my 3-month-old indie puppy has excessive dandruff. I've bathed her thrice in the last 1 month, but it seems impossible to get rid of the dandruff. What should I do about it?
So dandruff normally is hi Mohit. First of all, dandruff normally is because of dry skin. Okay, and this is actually a condition that a vet would be able to help you better with. But yes, in my experience, I have seen that a good diet or the correct shampoo and things like that do help in controlling the situation. So I would recommend you speak to your vet because your puppy is really young still. So I wouldn't recommend any kind of shampoo, right? Like I wouldn't recommend any kind of shampoo without knowing what exactly is causing the dandruff. But as far as I know, it's normally because of dry skin, and adding things like salmon oil or things like that to your pet's diet normally helps. But again, since you have a puppy, I would not just start giving them anything or using anything unrecommended on them, because you would have to check with your vet first, because puppies don't have a great immunity or anything like that, so you don't want to do anything that might hurt them rather than help them. So that's the answer to your question, Mohit. I hope that helps. Niharika, I think we're done with the question. Are there any more questions for this? It seems like Niharika is not around. Another thing, actually, Mohit, that you can do is maybe you could try some like an oil massage. You can try maybe some saffron oil or maybe some olive oil or something. Just massage your doggy before the bath. Keep it on for about say 20 minutes or so, and then wash it off. You get a lot of good oils. Actually, a lot of good brands have been making oils. So I think like pet friendly oil. So maybe you could ask your vet to recommend something for you. Okay, so we have Yashvi is asking, I'm looking to adopt and my family is really fussy about cleanliness when keeping pets at home. Any particular breed that is easier to maintain? Okay, so obviously a shorter haired dog would be easier to maintain. But having said that, please know that short haired dogs will shed more, right? A long haired dog will shed less. So a Labrador or a Pug or a Beagle will shed more, meaning there will be more hair around the house as compared to a Shih Tzu or a Bichon or a Maltese, because what happens is, the dog's hair is like in a cycle, and with a short haired dog, their cycle is shorter, meaning, like, like for us also, our hair falls after a certain point, right, and then new hair comes in. So it's the same with dogs. So with shorter haired dogs, that cycle is much quicker. So rather than the hair growing very long and not falling out, it grows only to a certain length, and after that it has to fall out, so the dog is going to shed. The best way to control that for a short haired dog is to bathe your dog regularly, so that helps remove all the loose coat, so there's not too much shedding around. Also, when shedding is concerned, diet makes a lot of difference. So whenever you do get a dog, Yashvi, you could probably ask your vet for the best, most appropriate diet that would help with coat maintenance and to prevent shedding and stuff like that. And yes, but you will have to bathe your dog regularly. With a long-haired dog, they don't shed as much. Long-haired dogs do not shed. If at all you see a dog shedding, it's most often coat change, which means when the dog is about 6 months old, the coat starts to change, right? So it's the puppy coat that's actually falling out and it's being replaced by the adult coat, which is why there's a little bit of shedding at this time, right? But apart from that, there isn't a lot of shedding. Shedding would be more breaking. So if your dog is scratching or things like that, they are breaking their hair. That's when the hair is falling. Otherwise, technically, the hair does not fall very often as compared to a shorter haired dog. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, Yashu. Okay, Avinash Ulal is asking, what about ticks? So there are a lot of tick products. Then again, for puppies, you have to be careful what you're using. So I would recommend that you ask your vet before you use anything on a puppy. Normally, you get some anti-tick sprays and powders, or even some shampoos that you can use. But do not use anything without first consulting your vet, because puppies can be sensitive to ticks. Okay, best food for hygiene of a female. Smriti, I don't really know what your question means, so I don't think I'll be able to answer that, because I don't know too much. I am not an authority on nutrition. I'm more of an authority on grooming, so I can tell you about grooming, brushing and combing your dog. But when it comes to food and nutrition and things like that, I'm not the best at it. So yeah.
Sorry for the
Okay.
interruption.
Hey Niharika,
Yeah,
I was just
hi.
answering some questions while you were away.
Yeah, it was a power failure. Really sorry for that. But now
Okay.
that I'm back, I would like to take up the second trivia question that we have for the
Right.
audience. So before we move on, so our second trivia question for you today is, when should you initiate grooming for a puppy? So option one is between 4 to 8 weeks of its age, and option two is after 1 year. I'll repeat. When should you initiate grooming for a puppy? Option one, between 4 to 8 weeks of its age, and option two is after 1 year. So those of you who know the correct answer, I'm sure Andrea does. So, but those of you who know the correct answer, please type it in the comments below. And after the session is over, we will announce three lucky winners who will win the gift hamper from Purina Pro Plan. So, Andrea, do you want to move on to the next session? Should we?
Yeah, sure. We can move on to the next section.
All right. Over to you now.
All right. So before I start the next section, there's a question here from Padmavati Mistry, and she says, "Is hair trimming absolutely necessary for all dog breeds?" That is an absolute no. Not all dog breeds require trimming. In fact, short-haired dogs and double-coated dogs like huskies and golden retrievers and stuff, they do not require trimming. Trimming is only required by, like, these kind of dogs, like your Shih Tzus and Maltese and Bichons and Poodles and Lhasa Apsos. These kind of dogs require trimming. Your Labradors and your Pugs and your Golden Retrievers and your German Shepherds do not require trimming. So guys, please avoid trimming your dog's hair, because it has a lot of other repercussions. That's a whole different live session that I'll have to do for you guys. But believe me when I say it is not a good idea. So please do not trim your dog's hair if it is not required. Long-haired dogs, yes, you need to trim their hair to keep them maintained, depending on what you like. But for short-haired dogs, you do not need to trim their hair at all. Okay. So now we shall continue. Now, like I showed you in the last section about eye cleaning, so that's how you would do it. Basically, you take your little cotton swab, you put contact lens solution. So I have Renew over here, which is like one of the most popular contact lens solution. You can use any other solution, contact lens solution, or you can use something known as NS, which is a saline water that you get at any pharmacy or chemist. So you can use that. You would just put it on a swab, a cotton swab, or you would put it on a gauze, like bandage gauze, or that malmal, thin cotton kapra, soft kapra, or a hanky or something like that, and just wipe the eye area. So can I see your face, really girl? So that's so wet it as much as possible when you're cleaning, because it's a lot easier. So if the cotton is too dry, it won't get clean. So that's how you would clean eyes, and of course then you would use your comb to remove any dirt from the eyes. Okay. And for ear cleaning, guys, ear cleaning is actually very important, especially for puppies, because most puppies, they come from breeders and kennels, and their ear hygiene is not necessarily the best. So please be very attentive, with your dog's ears. Always check if you feel that your dog's ears are smelling. So with her, I would smell her ears. So her ears smell fine. They're okay for now, I think. And and if you feel that there is like a black discharge coming out from your dog's ears, please go to the vet and get it checked out. For any regular ear cleaning, again, same thing. You can use ear cleaner. So I have a very basic ear cleaner that is available. It's called Mystic Ear. You get other ear cleaners as well. You don't have to use this particular brand, but I have this brand that I use at my salon. So which is why I'm showing you that. Again, you need to put it on a piece of cotton. Okay, don't use tissue paper because tissue paper disintegrates. Okay, you would open the ear flap. Okay, baby girl, can I please? 1 minute. She's so sleepy. All right, you would open the ear flap. Okay, move all the hair away, and you would take the cotton and just wipe wherever you can see, right? And always make sure that you're pulling outwards. So you're scooping outwards and you're not pushing the ear dirt inside. Okay, so your wax should not be pushed inside the ear canal, it should be pulled outwards. So it's like a scoop, like scooping action. So you're scooping it out, and that is how you would clean the ears. Okay, so you get a lot of ear cleaning solutions that you can actually put into the ears. But be careful when you're using that on puppies, because some puppies may not necessarily react too well to anything going inside their ears and stuff like that. So, yeah. Another thing you need to check is if your dog's ears have too much hair in them. So, like I've seen a lot of Shih Tzus, Poodles, Bichons even, can have a lot of hair inside the ear canal. So sometimes that hair needs to be removed, for a little bit of ventilation to go into the ears. And because there's so much hair, that there is a lot of deposit, like wax deposit inside the ears, which can cause problems. So if at all you find that your doggy has a lot of hair in her ears, you can go to a vet or a professional groomer, somebody who knows what they're doing, and ask them to clean out the ears for you. Okay, don't try pulling out the hair from the ears yourself, because you can hurt your dog. Okay. Another very important point is, please do not use earbuds to clean your dog's ears, because if your dog, like how she shook right now, she just shook her head just suddenly like that. If you're using a earbud and I was doing something like that, I could have injured her, right? So we don't want to use earbuds next to the ears. Leave that to the professionals. Let them do it, because they have more experience, and they've been doing it day in and day out. So they will do a better job of it without hurting your pet. So please don't use that. Okay. So yeah, so that's with ears and eyes, and yeah, I don't think Fiona wants to wake up today. I think this is going to be a sleepy session for her.
She's enjoying the grooming a lot. The way you're handling is very gentle, probably.
Yeah, that makes a lot of difference actually. And the way I'm combing her also, it's more of a soothing thing for her and me. It's like a bonding exercise. So actually, for pet parents, this is like a really good thing, because when you just sit there, you're doing nothing, and you're just running a comb or a brush through their hair, they are finding it really relaxing, and you are actually getting your work done. Means you're getting your dog like detangled, which is great. It's like a two in
Yeah.
one thing, and it's fun. I love
It
doing
is.
it.
It is. It is. Yes.
Yeah.
So, before we move on to the next question, we have the third and final trivia question for you guys today. So, the last trivia question for today is you have to answer true or false. So, is teeth brushing should teeth brushing be a regular part of your dog's life? The option one is true, and the option two is false. So, I'll repeat the question. Teeth brushing should be a regular part of your dog's life. Answer true or false. And so we can now move on to the next session, Andrea, can we?
Yes, absolutely. We have some questions, Niharika, if you would like to take
Uh,
them first. Like, if you would like
all
to
right,
just
sure,
switch.
sure. So
Yeah.
we have a question from Rajay Narkar. He's saying, I have a Shih Tzu. Instead of regular brushing, some knots seem to form under his arm. What should I do as the skin under there is very sensitive and I fear skin pulling?
Okay, so the thing is that you have to start brushing your dog before the knots start forming. Okay, now if there are knots already, I would recommend that you go to your groomer and you probably get those knots shaved off from the armpits, because yes, the underarm area is quite sensitive. But if at all, this is the starting of matting and you can still deal with it and maybe it will open up, you can just hold your dog. You can make your dog lie down. Okay, if your dog allows you, like, if your dog likes to sleep on its back, that's a really great position to put it in. Some dogs don't like it, like even she doesn't really like it, so she's sleeping sideways. I think you guys can see that. Okay, so you can hold up the paw like that. Okay, so I'm going to have to use this hand, but it might just hide. So what I would do is I would hold up the paw, right, and I would brush the armpits from the sides like that, right? So there you go. I'm going to hold up the paw so you guys can see. So I'm getting the armpits in as well. She's absolutely fine. She's absolutely comfortable with the whole process because I'm not pulling anything. If at all you feel that the knots are still there, you can use your slicker brush, okay, your soft slicker brush, and keep it flat to the skin. Do not poke your dog, okay? If you're going to poke your dog is going to bite you. Then don't tell me that Andrea told me to do this, okay? So,
Sure.
so yeah, keep your slicker brush as flat as you possibly can, okay? And just brush a few times gently, do not press, gently, okay, and automatically those knots will start coming out. Okay, so
All
it's
right.
pretty, everything has to be very easy, very gentle, and very chilled out, and make sure it's not like a production, you know what I mean. Don't make it too stressful for yourself or the dog, because whatever you are feeling, your dog is going to be feeling. So make sure that you are calm and you are in a good space when you are sitting down to do this with your dog. It's a bonding exercise, right? You need to be able to bond with your dog. You don't have to get irritated with your dog and say, yeah, sit, yeah, what are you doing? Yeah? Don't, yeah. You have to be calm, and you have to understand that your dog is a puppy, right? So you have to be very calm, very gentle, and very, very, very patient. And of course, you can have a
All
few
right.
treats. That always helps.
Okay. So we have one more question from Udit Roy. He's
Uh-huh.
asking, I use wet tissue for cleaning ears. Is it fine?
Which wet tissue would you be using, Udit? If you're using pet-friendly wet tissue, yeah, that's fine. That's okay to use. You do get pet-friendly wet tissues, and those are pretty okay. Or sometimes even baby wipes help, unless your dog is sensitive or allergic to baby wipes. But if your dog is fine with it, you can use wet wipes as well. So yeah.
Okay. So time for the next demo, I believe. All set?
Yep. So what's the
All
last
right.
demo? The last demo is
For hygiene. So
ah.
I'll leave you to it. All right.
Okay. All right. So, guys, paw hygiene now is something that a lot of us pet parents, we are quite concerned about, especially during the pandemic, because we don't want our puppies coming home with dirty paws and like jumping all over us and carrying germs or dirt or whatever. So paw hygiene is important. Okay, you get a lot of products that you can use to clean paws. Like you get this little cup that you can put the paw in, and you turn it around in like some soapy water, and you can clean the paws like that. All right. You can also use wet wipes. So something like doggy wet wipes you can use, right, to clean the paws once they're back from a walk. Or you can just use plain water. Just a wet towel or something. You can use that and clean the dog's paws. Okay. The only thing I would say that when you are cleaning your dog's paws, and if you have wet your dog's paws, please comb it out. Okay, comb out the paws when you use something wet on the thing, because when you use something wet on the hair, it's going to start sticking together, and if it sticks together, it's going to form knots. If you don't brush it out there and then, at that very minute, it is going to start, becoming like knots, and then that will obviously lead to mats, and then we know the whole story from there. So make sure that you're brushing out your dog's paws, after you've finished washing and cleaning. This is one sleepy doggy. Yeah. Are there any other questions, guys, or I'm good? Okay, bye. I can't hear you again, Niharika.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes.
So we have a question from Disha Modi, and she's asking, my pup is a crybaby and I can't find an easy way to groom him. He hates bathing, won't let me brush him, and does not let me touch his ears or eyes. Please help.
Okay. So Disha, what I would say is, like, you can see how my friend Fiona here is very, very interested in her treats. So I'm sure your pet, your boy probably likes something, a treat or something that he really loves. Maybe you could try bribing him, right, with something like that, or you could. What I feel is, when dogs react like that, first of all, when you allow them to react like that when they're puppies, right, that is why they react like that when they are older, because when they get away with something, when they feel like they have won, then now she's awake, when they feel that they have won, then they will repeat that behavior. Wait. She's switching it up. Wait, Fiona. Okay. So yeah, you have to maintain that you are the boss, okay? You are the dog's owner, and you are responsible for taking care of the dog and for tending to all of that dog's needs. So please make sure that you are the alpha in the house and not your dog. What happens is, when you have a cute puppy like Fiona here, she's so cute, it's easy to, let her mischief or her naughtiness go unchecked, because she's so cute and adorable, right? But this cute and adorable puppy can become a real pain later on when they're not going to allow you to do anything. Okay. So for now, I would recommend that you take your doggy to a professional and get it done. Okay. Somebody who's not going to hurt him, somebody who's going to be patient and kind with him, so that he starts to trust the process a little bit more. So it could be the reason he's reacting like that is probably because he doesn't trust that you'll do a safe and gentle job. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's where the thing is. So I would suggest go to a professional, try and have a professional handle him nicely first, and ask that professional how to brush, the correct way to brush and the correct way to hold him and things like that. So, and of course, a good treat always helps. As we can see, Fiona is all nice and awake now after we've almost done our whole session.
Cute. So, Andrea, before we start taking further questions from the audience, I would request you to share with the pet parents the answer for the Purina Pro Plans contest that we posted on 9th February. So,
Okay,
our
what was the
question was, is it true or false that regular brushing helps reduce shedding and maintains a shiny coat? So,
That is absolutely true.
all right.
That is absolutely true. Even for a short-coated dog, not just for long-haired dogs,
Right.
even for short-haired dogs, it helps, because when you're brushing, you're removing a lot of that dirt and debris, and you're stimulating the oils in their skin and coat, which helps make the hair shinier. So you know how they say for us, you should brush your hair like so many times, and then your hair will
Yes,
become all
yes,
nice and
yes.
shiny. It's the same thing. Even with a short-coated dog, if you brush them regularly, you'll remove a lot of that dirt and dust from on top, and you help promote that oil to be balanced all over the body, rather than just stuck at the roots and not reaching the ends of the hair.
All
Fiona
right.
has finished eating her food.
Okay, so we have now we can start taking the rest of the questions, I believe.
Yes.
So we have a question from Ria Yadav, and
Uh-huh.
she's asking, "Hello, ma'am. I have a Labrador, and she's shedding a lot nowadays. Her hair are literally everywhere in the house. What should I do?"
Okay, so if you have a lab that's shedding a lot, a good bath and a scrub would really make a lot of difference. Uh, so if you don't have any professional groomers around, you can use something known as a curry brush. So I don't have a curry brush with me right here, but basically it's a rubber brush, and it has these little cones on it. So you can put it on your hand, or you get these glove kind of things. So if you can use
She's
that
very
to
dumb.
brush your dog, to like brush your dog, right? That'll help remove all that dead coat, and giving them a nice good bath, like scrub them really really well, so all that loose dead hair is going to fall out. So yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. Her next question is, "My dog won't let me touch her paw, so how can I clean it? Whenever I try to clean it, she'll just run away." This is from Riya Yadav.
Okay, Ria, so you are allowing your dog to run away, first of all. Okay, she won't run away without you allowing her to run away. Don't allow her to run away. If she's come from a walk, ow, if she's just come from a walk and you've had her on her leash, right? Don't remove the leash till you have finished cleaning the paws. So if you remove the leash, as soon as you come into the door and you remove the leash, then she's going to run away because she knows that the paw is going to be cleaned, and ow. And she doesn't want that done, right? But as an owner, you need to do it, right? For your hygiene, for your own peace of mind, you want to do it. So don't let her off the leash. Keep her on the leash, clean her paws, give her a treat after you're done, and then remove the leash. That will help her connect something positive with the process. So slowly but surely she'll allow you. Even my dogs, I used to wash their feet when they came back home after a walk, and it came to a point where they would, just directly after they came into the door, they would just directly walk into the bathroom. They'd be like, "Acha, okay, we have to go there, we have to wash our paws, and then we can come." So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So our next question is from Sushma Jain. She's asking, if any ants or small bugs go in the coat other than brushing, is there anything else we can do?
Nope. Brushing is your best bet. Brushing is your best bet. Yeah, you'll be able to remove the thing. Otherwise, baths help, but brushing is definitely your best bet. You can use a flea comb if you feel that there are, this flea comb. You can try combing out the insect with the flea comb. But yeah, brushing is definitely your best bet.
So Samriddhi Arya asks, is hair color safe for dogs?
Well, doggy safe hair color is safe for dogs, and you get a lot of that. You get a lot of doggy safe color, hair color. Okay. Now she's awake. You get doggy safe color that you can use on dogs, which is completely non-toxic. So yes, I say that it is safe. It depends on the brand that you're using.
Okay. Then we have Himakshi Thingra, and she's asking, when can I take my lab puppy for nail trimming? He's 5 months old.
Himakshi, take your doggy for a nail trimming today, like today or tomorrow, because the sooner the better. Once he's big and he's petrified of nail trimming, he's not going to allow a groomer or a vet or even you to do it. So right now his nails are still soft and easy to cut. So please get it done as soon as possible, and so that the process won't be painful. If the process is not painful, he's going to allow you to do it. So please remember, guys, whatever you're doing with puppies and stuff like that, if you wait too long and then they're going to get hurt or something is going to pain or something, if it's going to be traumatic for them, they're not going to like it for the rest of their life. And that spoils everything for everybody, including us groomers, right? Because we don't want a dog that's going to like bite our heads off, the minute we try to cut their nails. So the sooner you take your puppy for, nail trimming, ear cleaning, a good professional bath, all of those kind of things, the better. Because then the puppy gets desensitized to these kind of things, and they're not petrified that at 1 year, at the age of 1 year, you're suddenly going to a groomer and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this dryer? What is this person? What are they doing to me? They're going to kill me. Ouch. You bit me. You bit me. You should not." She's like a playful mood now. Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to wait till it's really really late, till they're already set in their ways. So do it when they are young. It's a lot easier to train a younger dog.
Okay. So we have another question from Shreya Mittal. She's asking, "Hi ma'am, my Shih Tzu gets knotted around the legs and below the neck. What products can be used to avoid matting around such areas?"
You get these sprays, dematting sprays and detangling sprays in the market. You have a lot of different brands that you can use. Yeah, so you can use these sprays, and then whenever you're brushing, make sure that you are getting the comb through underneath the neck area, because yes, the neck and the chin area is somewhere that gets quite knotted, because they're eating there, and they're drinking their water, and everything is always dipping into some dirt or the other, or they're smelling something on the ground. And I have a schnauzer, and she's got like this big long beard. And whenever she comes back home, she'll have like some patta, some dandi, something stuck in her beard. And I'm like, ye kya hai? Ye kya hai? What is this? That kind of thing. So
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
you need to brush out and you need to comb out, this area regularly, because this area is something that does get matted quite easily. Also, guys, another thing that I would like to mention is that when you're using a harness on a long-haired dog, please make sure that every time you remove that harness from your dog, you are combing out your dog, especially in these areas, these areas where the harness is,
Okay.
which is like the armpits and stuff like that, this area. And if they're using only a collar, please make sure that you're cleaning your sorry, not cutting, you are combing or brushing underneath this ear area over here, okay? Because these are places that we find knots most of the time,
Knots.
right? And these are places that get left out. So if you do it quickly, then like it's like a stitch in time saves nine, right? So you do it today, आज करे, क्या what, कल करे सो अब, आज
कल
कर,
करे
आज
सो
करे
आज
सो
कर,
अब,
आज करे सो
आज
अब.
करे सो अब, yeah. So it's
Right,
that kind of thing, right? So it saves a lot of stress for you and your doggy, right? So it's a two-way thing. It's good for both of you. It's a great thing, yeah, to be grooming your doggy and taking care of them. So I mean, why not? You love them, right?
definitely. So we have one more question from Ria. She's asking, "What can I add to my dog's diet to keep her coat healthy and shiny?"
Normally, a lot of vets recommend things like salmon oil or omega-3, or I've heard that even ghee is really good, like pure desi ghee, like just a little bit of ghee in their food helps maintain a nice shiny coat. But then again, anything that you add to your dog's diet that's going to go inside their system, always ask your vet first before putting anything in your dog's mouth, because you never know what they are allergic to. Like humans can be allergic to a lot of stuff, so can animals. So please be careful what you give your dog, and don't give them anything just because, oh, I heard it on that live show, and I'm going to do it for my dog. I would not recommend that you do that without checking with your vet first. Always check with your vet first.
Okay. So Samriddhi asks, "What to do for rough coat?"
Samriddhi, I'm assuming that your dog's coat has become rough, right? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean that you have a dog with a rough coat? Now, these are two different things. Like,
Okay.
dogs have different kinds of coats. You have rough coated dogs as well, and you have smooth coated dogs, and you have silky coated dogs. So, if you mean that your normally silky coated dog's coat has become rough or dry, in that case, you should be using a conditioner after you bathe your dog. In fact, in general, it's good to use a conditioner, on any dog, even a short-haired dog, even a lab or a beagle or a pug, even those kind of dogs. You use a conditioner, it just helps their coat become a lot softer, smoother, and shinier. So yeah, conditioner is actually a really great thing to use.
Perfect. So the next question is from Shreya, and she's asking, "My Shih Tzu is tricolor, white being dominant, so her beard turns yellow post eating. She has home food, not even store-bought food. How to avoid the hair around the beard from getting yellowish?"
So when you're feeding her, Shreya, I guess you probably would need to make two little ponytails, like muchi ponytails. So I mean, that's what. See, if
Adorable.
your dog has long hair, right? If your dog has long hair, you have to think of innovative things to do to, protect that coat, and especially if you want to keep it that way, right? So I would recommend, you make two muchis like, you know, over here, like that. One muchi here, like that, right? then one muchi on the other side, and one muchi underneath the chin, like one little ponytail underneath the chin. So what happens with that is that it avoids the hair going inside the food, and that will help with your staining. And also, of course, regular cleaning of that area will definitely help. But yeah, your little ponytail muchis, those will help.
Okay. So Rashna is asking, I have a beagle. What should be the grooming routine? He's just a lot of dry skin, which I sit and uproot.
Okay, that sounds like your beagle has dandruff or something. So
Yeah.
again, speak to your vet once to find out why the skin is really really dry. If you feel that it's not dandruff and it's just regular dry skin, you can use oil, even coconut oil or something, to massage your doggy before a bath. So just put some oil on them. Make sure that you don't use too much oil also, because you don't want to throw them in a kadai of oil. You just want to use a little bit of oil, rub it on your hand, and like rub it all around your doggy's coat, so that you help get some oil in their in their skin and coat, and then wash it off after about half an hour or so. If it's dandruff or something, I would recommend you speak to your vet about it, and maybe he will recommend some oils or something. So what we normally use for something like that is saffron oil. I really like saffron oil because then it helps with ticks and fleas as well. So it's a great oil to use for general coat health, I feel, if you're doing an oil massage most of the time. But there are brands in India also, like Papa Possum has some really nice oils. Happy Puppy Organics has some really nice oils, massage oils that you can use for your dog. So maybe you should check them out, and probably use something like that to help make your dog's skin a little more shiny and soft.
And I think for the rough coat, Samriddhi says she had a soft coat earlier, but then in
Ah, okay.
winters, the upper part became wavy and rough.
Yeah.
So
So
it
Samadhi,
became rough eventually.
you need to use a conditioner after you bathe your doggy, and if you can get your hands on a good leave-in conditioner, use that as well. So when the dog's coat is still wet, take a little bit of leave-in conditioner. Not our leave-in conditioner. You get doggy leave-in conditioner, which is specifically for dogs. So you take a little bit in your hand, like how we would do for our hair, like we use a leave-on or something, and you rub it and you just dab it all over the body, and then just like the thing it pat it down her entire body and pet her, you know so that will help make the skin a little the hair a little bit softer. It helps. And winter normally dries out the coat anyway, so try using a little conditioner when you're bathing your dog.
All right, all right. So even I had one question, Andrea. I just wanted to ask: is there any way to train your pup to enjoy bath time? I mean, for dogs who don't really enjoy bathing, is it any way that we can, get them used to bathing?
So you have to distract them. Okay, so if they
Okay.
don't like bathing, you have to distract them. So you have to use some kind of distraction strategy. So what you can use is a toy. You probably have a toy and squeak it whenever they're getting irritated with what you're doing. Secondly, it's very important that you are calm. It's very, very important that
Okay.
you are not getting stressed out when you're
All
bathing your
right.
dog. When you're like, oh, Fluffy, let's go for a bath. Oh my God, Fluffy, we have to go for a bath. Oh God, Fluffy, no. You know,
Okay, understood.
and then Fluffy's like, why is she behaving like that? I want to go for a bath. There's something wrong. Kuch to gadbad hai. So,
Okay, so that's
so
fair.
your attitude makes a lot of difference. So make sure you are confident and calm when you are wanting a dog to do something for you. In general, that's a general training rule for any pet. Always be calm and assertive. You want to get your work done, but you want to be calm. You don't want to get stressed out. You don't want to get angry, and you definitely don't want to be underconfident and scared. So okay, stay calm, and make sure you're treating them. Give them a toy they really like, or give them maybe a chewy or a treat or something like that. Nowadays, you get these things that you can stick onto the wall, and put some peanut butter and stuff on it. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the internet.
Okay,
So
yes,
you get
yes.
this like sort of a like a sticky whatever silicone thing, and you can just apply some peanut butter on it, right, and stick
Okay.
it to the wall of your bathroom, and your dog is busy licking that while you are bathing your dog at the time.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
so those are little hacks that you could use. Though we've never used anything like that because our dogs have been thankfully okay, but it also depends on the kind of energy you're bringing to them. So if you are getting stressed out and you are anticipating a fight, they will give you a fight. Okay,
Right.
so stop anticipating a fight. go in with a positive mind and say, no, today Fluffy is going to have a bath and he's going to be all nice and clean and shiny and he's not going to fight me. Chances are he will fight you, but you still have a calm energy about you, right? So the next time you do it, he'll be like, oh, last time she was pretty calm. So maybe I'll just chill out a little bit this time, you know?
Nice.
So it takes a few times, but yeah, it works.
Okay. So hope we were able to answer all the questions. So, and now, as promised, we will be announcing the 3 lucky winners who correctly answered all the 3 trivia questions that we asked during the sessions. So congratulations, Akansha Shah, Sushma Jain, and Samriddhi Arya. You guys win an exciting gift hamper from Purina Pro Plan. Please inbox your details to Purina Pro
Congratulations,
Plan
guys.
India's page. You can just inbox your details to Purina Pro Plan India's page. And looks like our time is up, and I think we'll have to end the live session now. And thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today and showcasing a brilliant demonstration covering all the essential aspects of puppy grooming. And thank you so much, Fiona, for being so cute.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, and thank you, pet parents who.
There's a book from Fiona.
Okay. And thank you, pet parents who joined us and the ones who participated in the session and got their questions answered. Hope we were able to help you today. And to the ones who missed it, don't worry, these live sessions are going to be a regular affair. Meanwhile, you can watch this entire video on Purina's Facebook page, Purina Pro Plan India. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much,
Bye,
Andrea. Bye,
everybody. Thank
Fiona.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.